back. Yo, it's your boy Bernard. Welcome back to the Angry Blerd podcast, where I'll be discussing everything nerdy that has caught my eye for the past week and a half, 2 weeks or so. Just the interesting things, not the filler and all that crap. But let's go ahead and get into it. So, as we know, the big two of the comic book industry are DC and Marvel. And every once in a while, they'll do a crossover. They mainly did one in the 90s. They actually did one back in the 70s where Superman and Spider-Man met. And there was also a JLA Avengers crossover like back in 2003 that was written by Kirk Busiek, I believe, and drawn by the late great George Perez. But in 2025, we are getting another crossover after 22 years of nothing. And that will be none other than The World's Greatest Detective and The Merc with the Mouth. So these will be 2 one-shots. Alright. But so on the DC side of this, it will be called Batman / Deadpool. And that will be drawn by, who is it drawn by? Let me double check that. I thought they had the artist, but no. So for the DC side, it would be written by Grant Morrison. And over on the Marvel side, for the Deadpool Batman one-shot, it will be written by Zeb Wells. So I'm pretty sure some people are going to lose their minds about Zeb Wells writing a a Deadpool comic, because his run of Amazing Spider-Man wasn't well received. But I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, this was already in the works. I don't think they're gonna pull him off the book, and I'm very excited to see what Zeb does, because I actually like Zeb Wells as a writer. I didn't have any issues with any of his Spider-Man stuff. I went on Reddit and I looked at some of the comments of someone who posted this. Someone said DC's cash cow versus Marvel genius. Someone also, like me, said forever a Zeb Wells defender because of Hellions. His Amazing Spider-Man is probably trash, but rarely have I laughed out loud as a comic as much as him writing Mr. Sinister. Someone said, I'm interested to see Bruce for one of a few times be able to fight someone without holding back at all, since Wade can't die. Weird choice, but I will get it, if anything, to support more crossovers. Alright. Someone said Chip Zdarsky dodged Amazing Spider-Man only to fall headfirst into Batman. Also, why couldn't Hush 2 be a separate miniseries? The idiot spelled 2 like Hot Tua, Tua. Kind of weird seeing the creative teams at Marvel in DC. Feels like maybe there should be a staple Marvel artist working with Morrison, John Romita or something. But I'm not complaining because Dan Mora fucks. So yeah, Dan Mora is drawing the DC side apparently, and I think they said Greg Capullo is drawing the Marvel side, because he is officially at Marvel now. He just worked on a mini series called Wolverine Revenge with Jeff Lemire, I want to say. I can't remember. There's so many comics I need to read or skip, because I'm behind on stuff. I actually need to go to the comic book store. Anyway, my next story is simply this. We have our Harry, Ron, and Hermione for the Harry Potter TV series. So Dominic McLaughlin will be playing Harry. Arabella Stanton will be playing Hermione Granger. And Alistair Stout will be playing Ron Weasley. And so once again, the issue with Harry Potter as a whole. People, J.K. Rowling really did not describe these characters. So as much as you want to say Hermione's white, J.K. Rowling even said that I never said she was white. So that's just you putting that projection onto the character because of how the movies were cast. So yeah, if you go back and read the books, the description of Hermione is she has bushy brown hair, brown eyes, and big teeth. So yeah, it's just like, even Snape isn't described as a white man. He is described as having sallow skin, which can be anywhere between pale and light brown. This was the legit definition of the word sallow. I was going back and forth with some incel bro on Twitter. I can't remember if it was on my personal page or if it was on the Angry Blerd page while I was on my cruise. But yeah, so still no updates on when this series will be released. We probably won't get it until 2027, if I'm being honest, because that really feels like the most logical release date, because they still have to cast the Dursleys, Ron's whole family. I don't think they cast Professor Sprout. I think they only did McGonagall, Hagrid, Snape, Quirrell, and there was one other person, I believe. I can't remember because I brought it up like months ago. I would have to like look at the notes. Meanwhile, while we're still talking about Warner Brothers, let's go back to DC. So Peacemaker season 2 is coming out in what, a month or so? But we got some details on season 2. So I'm glad James Gunn did this, because I think season 1 was 2 years ago. So season 2 takes place 2 years after season 1. There will indeed be a new opening dance scene. Was it 2 years ago? I'm looking this up. Yeah. Oh, 3 years ago, 2022. Michael Rooker's character, unless he's playing someone else, is Savant, who I believe died in the Suicide Squad, is apparently hunting eagerly. They will be showing some footage of it at SDCC. It also ties directly into Superman and what comes after. Other DCU characters will appear, as I told you guys when I did the reaction video to the season 2 trailer. We got Guy Gardner in there and Hawkgirl, and there's one really big cameo that will be teased for the end of the season. So I really hope this is good. From what I saw, the trailer did look amazing. I wonder how they're going to deal with the elephant in the room of kind of assimilating some of the stuff from the old DC to the new DC. Like, I mean, you had Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa in the last episode of season 1. So, okay. I mean, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's talk about Black Panther as a whole. So, T'Challa has not been having a good week at all. Well, a good 2.5, 3 weeks. So, first things first. Challenger Games, which was making the Black Panther game for EA, has been closed. So, that game will not be coming out anymore. So IGN said Electronic Arts is canceling its planned Black Panther game and shutting down developer Cliffhanger Games. An email was sent to staff from EA Entertainment President Laura Mealy. Mealy said that these changes, alongside recent cancellations and layoffs, are being done to sharpen our focus and put our creative energy behind the most significant growth opportunities. In addition to closing Cliffhanger and canceling Black Panther, EA is also laying off some individuals on both its mobile and central teams. When asked for the exact number of individuals impacted, EA declined to comment. So, Laura Mealy said these decisions are hard. They affect people we've worked with, learned from, and shared real moments with. We're doing everything we can to support them, including finding opportunities within EA, where we've had success helping people land in new roles. So, I wonder how much of that is true and how much of it isn't. All I know is that EA, I'm pretty sure they had a pretty good year last year fiscally, especially after the return of NCAA college football, because that was a franchise that was going for like a decade. And I know people who bought the collector's edition that came with Madden just to play that a couple days earlier. So they paid like $100 plus $130, $40 or whatever to get that. So, Yeah, it's just weird because EA doesn't need to do mobile games. It's like if you get rid of the mobile games, and I mean, I don't even know how many franchises they actually have outside of like sports stuff. Like, do they even still do NBA Live games? Because everybody started going more towards NBA 2K. Oh, and apparently they don't. The last one was NBA Live 19. So yeah, it's like you got Madden, you got college again. Do they even still do UFC? But I don't know. It's just like, and I don't know what games EA overall like has as franchises, because I'm just like, okay, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, the Army of Two isn't even a thing anymore. I don't think Apex Legends is a thing. I don't think they have the license to Star Wars anymore, outside of the last Star Wars Jedi game, starring Cal Kestis, that's supposed to be coming out. I mean, we knew this was going to happen just because, well, we didn't know that the game was going to be canceled, but I've been saying this for years. Stop announcing games like XYZ amount of years before they're even, like, there was no footage, cinematic otherwise, of Black Panther or the Iron Man game that EA also announced. So it's just like, come on, get it together. Anyway, so if you have been living under a rock, Marvel Knights: The World to Come came out this Wednesday, and the internet lost their mind, as well as the trolls, having a good time online. So I told you guys about this book. It was supposed to be set in a future where T'Challa is dead. So I pulled up the synopsis again. So I said, the future of the Marvel Universe is here as two of the most visionary creators in comic history show you the world to come. The King of Wakanda is dead, leaving unguarded the world's most advanced technology, most precious metal, and a cryptic vault of dark secrets, while triggering global conflicts among Marvel's heroes, villains, and mutants. With T'Challa gone, the future of the Marvel 616 universe will be determined by a final tribal challenge for the Wakandan throne and the mysterious victor who will change Wakanda in the Marvel universe forever. Marvel Knights visionaries Joe Quesada and Christopher Priest collaborate on a future of the 616 through the lens of the revolutionary Marvel Knights line of books that changed comics as we know it. So, yeah, T'Challa got a white son, and he is now the King of Wakanda in the future. And everyone's like, oh my god, we forced Marvel to make a white Black Panther. And like, some people are just dummies because they don't understand the difference between a legacy character and race swapping a character. T'Challa was not race swapped. He has a son named Katama, who is white. He's not a white T'Challa, okay? So I'm taking all of this in stride. I was a little bit pissed because somebody decided to post the last page on Reddit without any type of spoilers whatsoever, so it was spoiled for me before I was even able to read it. But yeah, so like, the trolls are having a good old time, and like even making false rumors of Ryan Gosling joining the MCU as the new Black Panther and whatnot. So I'm like, yeah, you guys can enjoy this moment, but it's just like, what are you gonna do? Like, there was this one troll called Redacted on Twitter. He is he's got an avatar of Jackie Chan wearing a Black Panther suit, and he just doesn't understand the simple concept of people get race swapped all the times, but he is a new character, okay? And I hope that Christopher Priest does not have social media. If so, I hope he has someone who manages it for him, because I don't want people to be sending him death threats the way they were sending Dan Slott death threats about a decade and a half ago when he killed Peter Parker. I have absolute faith in Christopher Priest, and you know, like, a lot of people didn't read the book because it's telling a story of what happens after Katama takes over Wakanda. Like, Wakanda's in disarray. So if you can get the book, I suggest you get it because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a collector's item. I don't think Things from Another World isn't still in business, unfortunately, but you can go to like mycomicshop.com. You can go to midtowncomics.com or look for your local comic book store. I think it's comicshoplocator.com. I'm seeing if that's the actual URL real quick. Yeah, comicshoplocator.com. You just literally pop in your zip code and they will usually show you comic book stores within, I think, like a 25-mile radius. Like I just popped in, I popped in my zip code. It showed me everything within a 25-mile radius. I did not know there was a comic book store in Fort Pierce. Oh, there's one in Lake Worth as well. Okay. Oh yeah, I keep on hearing about those two stores. But I haven't been. But yeah, so check out the book. If you want, you can shoot me a DM and I can send you a link on where to read it. 7 seeds and all that. All right. What is my next story? So we know about Avengers Doomsday being pushed back. I think I brought that up on the last episode. I would have to look at my notes. Let me do that real quick. Well, no, it looks like I did not bring that up. But so Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars have been pushed back respectively to December of the year of their release. So Doomsday will no longer be coming out in May of next year. It will be coming out December, and Secret Wars will be coming out December of 2027 as opposed to May 2027. But yeah, so we know that Chris Hemsworth is in at least Doomsday, but he also posted a very cryptic post that makes it seem like he might be hanging up his hammer. So he said, playing Thor playing Thor has been one of the greatest honors of my life. For the last 15 years, I've held Mjolnir and then Stormbreaker as a god of thunder. But what made it truly special was sharing it all with you. Your passion, your cheers, and your love for this character have meant everything to me. Thank you for making my journey through the Marvel Cinematic Universe unforgettable. Up next, Doomsday. I don't know if like you guys saw it, but Chris Hemsworth did a show on Disney Plus where he found out that he was actually diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and he was, trying to figure out like homeopathic remedies to pretty much slow the process. And I don't know if he's going to quit acting, but this was like very concerning. Like, let me actually go to the tweets on my actual Twitter so I can read some of the comments. But yeah, somebody said, yeah, he's getting cooked. I wonder if that means Thor will die in Doomsday. Oh, he's not coming back at Doomsday. Thor's shadowing. Someone posted the clip of Jennifer Lawrence on Hot Ones with the what do you mean? Love and Thunder is a tragedy, an absolute abomination of a film that wasted a Christian Bale cast. Like, bro, what does that have to do with anything? I like how he secretly told us he's dying in Doomsday. Sounds like he's telling everybody goodbye. Yeah, he's toasting Doomsday. The entire character was massacred when Taika stepped on board. Doomsday will ruin him even more. People like Ragnarok, dude. Shut the hell up. That video that Deadpool saw of Thor was from Doomsday. Yeah, he's gonna die. Shit. Hemsworth can now play Hulk. Rest in peace to the God of Thunder. Thor's gonna die in Doomsday. Too bad Disney took a character going on a great arc and turned him into an idiot. It's not superhero fatigue. It's okay. So I get it. Everyone doesn't like Thor: Love and Thunder, but the issue with Thor: Love and Thunder is that nobody really paid attention to. Korg is narrating the whole story, so we're seeing it through his eyes. So it's just like, okay, whatever. I'm done. But so yeah, if he's done, we'll see him on the other side. All right, so here is my next story. Mike Flanagan, who is responsible for everything spooky on Netflix. I told you guys that he wrote a Clayface movie. He was doing an interview talking about the movie, and he said what inspired him to write the the movie. And it was possibly one of the greatest Batman episodes from the animated series, and that was a Defeat of Clay two-parter where, you know, Clayface's origin is shown. I can't remember the character's name in that episode, but yeah, he was promoting the new movie The Life of Chuck. Stars Tom Hiddleston. But he said, it's the perfect story. Feet of Clay featuring Ron Perlman. To me, that's it. That two-parter knocked me out. The short answer is that is absolutely what inspired my script. That is the world I wanted to live in. Batman the animated series when I was growing up was my Batman, as much as Michael Keaton was my Batman. The animated series was really my Batman. Then he shared his thoughts on Clayface's development. He said, I don't know what they're doing with Clayface. I'm not directing it, and that filmmaker would need to make it their own. I know they're going to do work on the script. I'm off doing other things now. I really hope it remains true to the spirit of what I want it to be, but it's not my movie, so I'll be in the audience with you, anxious to see how it comes out. That was his name, Matt Hagen. So they, in the comics, Clayface's name is Basil Carlo, I want to say. But yeah. So more or less the same origin, just different character names. So I don't really watch Mike Flanagan stuff, but I really hope this is good, because I don't really do the spooky supernatural shit like that really, unless it's like Final Destination. But I hope it's good. Anyway, I've been talking for almost a half hour. I need to drink some water, so y'all gonna listen to this ad for Dubby. All right. This episode is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby gives you focus and energy without the crash and jitters. It has no sugar, fillers, or artificial dyes. Mix 1 packet or scoop into 8 or 12 ounces of water. Stir or shake well. Some powderiness is normal, and it has all the important vitamins. So this has vitamin C, B3, B6, and B12. And it's made from coffee fruit extract. So drink it and go conquer a task, and go to dubby.gg and use my promo code angryblerd10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. That's dubby.gg with promo code angryblerd10. And I am back. So, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the trailer for Gen V Season 2 dropped. I did not watch this, so I can get my initial reactions to you guys, despite the fact that it was 6 days ago. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Welcome back.
Good to be back. Thanks for letting me re-enroll. I'm grateful.
You're an eye twitch away from leaping across this table and ripping my throat out with your teeth. I get why you're upset. After what happened.
Stay behind me.
Hey, you guys.
Really?
What the fuck?
I'm
Make America
Cypher,
super
your
again.
new dean.
It is time that humans learn that what runs through our veins is true thought blue.
Dang, they put barbed wires around the school.
Nothing good will come of this. Nothing ever does.
Want to burn the school down to the motherfucking studs.
Let's fucking go.
I will be preparing you to push your powers to their fullest potential. You are not students. You're soldiers, and you will fight.
Bless your hearts and hold on to your
Firecrackers
butts.
back.
We should run.
What we should be doing is disrupt, break shit, fuck shit up.
Whatever we do it together.
What really happened to my son?
You have no idea what you're dealing with.
Let's go.
3, 2, sophomore sophomore year is gonna be lit.
September 17th. Everybody's back. Unfortunately, we are going to have to deal with the passing of Chance Perdomo. So, Marie's back. Emma. Kate. Jordan. Sam. Hamish Linklater is joining the cast as Dean Cypher. And Sean Patrick Thomas is back as Polarity. So, apparently they wrapped up on Halloween filming this season of last year. But yeah, the synopsis is the story is set after the events of the 4th season of The Boys and follows Marie and the rest of her friends returning to Godolphin with a new Dean training Soups to be soldiers. On the brink of war between humans and Soups, the team discovers a program that could change everything. So, it's going to be weird not seeing Chance there. He really was like one of the shining lights in that show. I mean, this was like another Chadwick situation. He literally passed about a week before filming began, because he even did Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, and he was talking about getting ready to film season 2, and Mike put that he basically put that episode on hold for a while, just because he didn't want it to come off as him like monopolizing off of Chance's passing. So I think he sat on it for like a month and a half. But man, I mean, they're obviously going to dedicate at least the first episode to him. But yeah, shit. All right. And some more summer news. Unfortunately, I do have to talk about King of the Hill. So, King of the Hill season 14 is happening. But on the eve of that announcement happening, Jonathan Joss, who provided the voice of John Redcorn from seasons 2 through 14, because 14 is the current upcoming season, was murdered at the age of 59 after being shot by a neighbor in a homophobic attack. So his husband said, "My husband Jonathan Joss and I were involved in the shooting while checking the mail at the site of our former home. That home was burnt down after over 2 years of threats from people in the area who reportedly told us they would set it on fire. We reported these threats to law enforcement multiple times and nothing was done. Throughout the time, we were harassed regularly by individuals who made it clear that they did not accept our relationship. Much of the harassment was openly homophobic. And when we returned to the site to check our mail, we discovered the skull of one of our dogs and its harness placed in clear view. This caused both of us severe emotional distress. We began yelling and crying in response to the pain of what we saw. While we were doing this, a man approached us. He started yelling violent homophobic slurs at us, then raised a gun from his lap and fired. Jonathan and I had no weapons. We were not threatening anyone. We were grieving. We were standing side by side. When the man fired, Jonathan pushed me out of the way. He saved my life. Jonathan is my husband. He gave me more love in our time together than most people ever get. We were newlyweds. We picked Valentine's Day. We were in the process of looking for a trailer and planning our future. He was murdered by someone who could not stand the sight of two men loving each other." So, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this is the world we live in, where, you know, you don't have, and it's Pride Month, as well as Men's Mental Health Month, but you don't have to resort to violence just because you don't like the way someone is living their life. You can be homophobic in your own little corner of the world and no one would give a shit. So, and there's been more stuff coming out slowly over the past few days of this happening. So when they showed the new intro at ATX, Jonathan Joss was not a part of that panel. He was doing something else at ATX. So it was Mike Judge, who does the voice of Hank, Kathy Najimy, who is Peggy, Pamela Adlon, who's Bobby, and I want to say Toby Huss, who is the voice of Khan, but he will also be taking over the duties as the voice of Dale for Johnny Hardwick, who passed away in 2023. Johnny recorded about 6 episodes of the season, and it's I believe they said it's either 10 or 13 episodes. But yeah, it was so they were at the panel, and Jonathan Joss, he apparently crashed the panel. He thanked them for for allowing him to come back. He said that the fact that you guys trusted me to do this voice again is really humbling. It's with a lot of love and respect for that guy, because he laid down a really wonderful goof. Wait, who was this? Oh no, this was Toby Huss, who was talking about doing the voice of Dale. But no, Jonathan Joss, he popped out of the audience and went towards one of the microphones because they were going to do the Q&A afterwards. But basically, Toby Huss said, you guys trusted me to do the voice of Dale, and it's really humbling. And Dale's a nut and a goofball, and he wants to give all the credit to Johnny. So Jonathan Joss said, you were talking about Johnny, and I want to say something. But somebody, I guess, like one of the handlers for the convention, said this young man said I couldn't stay over there. I guess he didn't know that my land's already gone, and he said that, and I'm an actor. I see a mic, I use it. I see a wrong, I make it right. I want to breathe. So yeah, it looks like at this point he was really going through a lot. Like the fire really had to be recent. Yeah, it was just a lot of awkwardness. Then he said, Johnny, he gave you guys a character, but he is that character. He is that person. After that, like, Jonathan Joss just like left. So there was a lot of awkwardness going on there. So like I said, he definitely had to be going through a lot at that moment in time, because I'm pretty sure like there's no time frame on when the house was burnt down. I can't find anything, but yeah. But I believe King of the Hill will be coming back in August. They did say that they talked about the show a little bit. So Bobby's in his 20s. Hank and Connie, I mean not Hank and Connie, that would be crazy. Hank and Peggy moved to, I think they said Dubai, and before they moved, Hank walked in on Connie and Bobby about to have sex. But yeah, so it said here's the description. After years of working a propane job in Saudi Arabia to earn a retirement nest egg, Hank and Peggy returned to a Cheney's, Arlen, Texas to reconnect with old friends Dale, Boomhauer, and Bill. Meanwhile, Bobby is living his dream as a chef in Dallas and enjoying his 20s with former classmates Connie, Joseph, and Shane. So, yeah, Bobby is friends with Shane, with Sana-san. And, you know, those two were like rivals for the longest. I think Bobby kicked him in the nuts in his whole, yeah, he did. In the That's My Purse, I don't know you, because Shane was gonna try to make him eat dog shit or something like that. But yeah, once again, I was going back and forth with somebody because they were giving incorrect information. Like the official King of the Hill Facebook page posted a tribute to Jonathan Joss and thanked him for doing his voice work on the previous series as well as season 14. And someone's like, oh, he's not even in the show. It's like they literally said they thanked him for doing voice work in the show. Just reading is fundamental. That might be the name of the episode. I don't know yet. I'm tired. This is a lot. I'm just over the world. I'm not. Anyway, let me just go ahead and get into my next story. So, Mike Flanagan's Carrie series, I told you guys about a couple weeks ago. The cast has been revealed. So, Summer H. Howell will be playing Carrie. Sienna Agudong will be playing Sue Snail. Trying Try seeing that 5 times fast. Matthew Lillard will be playing Principal Grail. Samantha Sloyan will be playing Margaret White, who is Carrie's mother. Allison Thornton will be playing Chris Hargensen. Talia Dudek will be Emmeline. Amber Mid-Thunder will be Miss Desjardins. Shout out to Amber Mid-Thunder. Jesse Toto will be playing Tina. Shout out to Jesse Toto. Arthur Conti will be playing Billy. And Joel Olette will be playing Tommy. So, I've never seen the original Carrie. I own the 2014 remake that stars Chloe Grace Moretz and Julianne Moore. I believe Snoo Snell is, spoiler alert, for like a 40-year-old, 50-year-old book, 40-year-old movie, 50-year-old movie. I don't know when the original Carrie came out, but I believe Sue Snell was Carrie's antagonist, who ends up being pregnant by one of the boys, so Carrie lets her live. But I hope this is good. I think it's going to Peacock. I'm sorry guys, I'm over everything. But yeah, I hope it's good. Like I said, I don't really watch a lot of Mike Flanagan stuff. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything Mike Flanagan. I didn't watch Dr. Sleep. Didn't watch The Haunting of Hill House, Bly Manor, none of that stuff. But anyway, let's talk about Dexter Resurrection. So the trailer for that also dropped 6 days ago, and once again, didn't watch it. So let's get to it. So I gotta stop right there. Why do we do teaser trailers for trailers that we're watching? Like, they just spent 4 seconds showing us stuff that's in the trailer just to say the official trailer starts now.
Somebody once told me, you have to go through hell to achieve resurrection.
So yes, Dexter
Hallelujah.
lived.
Dexter, it's like seeing a ghost. Chief Bishop told me that you were alive. She said that you were the Bay Harbor butcher.
Okay.
So much for the happy reunion.
He up and ran after Batista.
What better place to hide?
He's in New York.
It's the greatest city in the world.
When nobody knows who you really are. Tell me more about your friends.
Prater likes to own things.
Kirsten Ritter.
Time to meet the man of the manor.
All right.
Welcome.
Tony Collette. I mean, Uma Thurman.
Express how excited I am to meet you. You really like serial killers. I pride myself on finding the best of the best in every field.
Let's show and tell, baby.
Okay.
So there are others on their way. Only in New York.
So I guess Dexter's gonna kill all the serial killers.
Invitation delivered.
This is the dark path you're going down.
There's Harrison.
I heard you to be careful, son. I'm tired of being careful. What do you think?
Okay, July 11th. Yeah, I don't have time to binge 8 seasons of Dexter. I can just go back and watch New Blood just to get ready for this, because you do find out at the end of Original Sin that Dexter survived his shot to the chest from Harrison. So yeah, Uma Thurman, Peter Dinklage, Eric Stonestreet, obviously Michael C. Hall, David Zayas, Kirsten Ritter, David Dastmalchian, and he was announced the day that this came out. Eric King will be reprising his role as James Dokes. So
surprise, motherfucker.
I saw that and I'm like, okay, explain yourself, because Dokes is dead. So like, if this is a situation where Dexter starts seeing the ghost of Dokes the same way he sees Harry, that would make sense, because when this news came out that Eric King will be returning as James Dokes, I'm just going to go to the comments on the tweet. What the fuck is even going on with this poor franchise? I responded to that one, and I said, if you bothered to watch Original Sin, you would have known that Dexter was in a coma. He's possibly seen ghosts from his past. And this person said, that sounds even worse than I imagined. Don't watch, plain and simple. And then he's like, oh, I guess we'll see soon enough. Just don't watch. He said, didn't they try to revive Dexter once and it utterly failed? Why are they doing this again? So I said, if it failed, then they wouldn't have done this series or the prequel. And once again, this was somebody, I guess he's not paying for a blue check anymore. Because I said, you people who pay for blue checks just get on here and say the dumbest shit for engagement so you can make 10 cents. Someone said, I really like this move of bringing Dotes back. I'm assuming it's one of the voices in his head, like his father, Harry Morgan. He's going to be in flashbacks. So, yeah, it's got to be flashbacks because Dotes got blown up. And I do keep on meaning to go back to rewatch that series. I love Dexter. Like, that's when Showtime was in their renaissance. Like, the mid-2000s was when everybody was in their bag. I don't get how, like, TV has fumbled so bad in the past 19 years since then. Like, 2006 was Heroes. No, Heroes was 07. But, like, we got Dexter, Psych. Like the 2000s, maybe like 2012. It was just Chef's Kiss, Dexter, Psych, White Collar, Royal Pains, Homeland, Billions, Weeds. What else did I watch? But something else I watched on Showtime. I can't remember what it is. Oh, The Big C. It was Californication, Monk, Graceland. But yeah, I feel like Michael Irvin. We're losing recipes. So yeah, I mean, we're going back to the well on a bunch of stuff because all the stuff ain't hitting no more. So yeah, July 11th for Dexter Resurrection. So be on the lookout for that one. All right, I am so glad I'm not paying for Netflix anymore because Netflix has decided to if you have the ad tier, they're going to be launching AI generated ads in 2026, and they will be designed to match the show or movie being watched, and some will appear as mid-roll ads or during pause breaks, and they will roll out in all countries for the ad supported tier. This is garbage. Are you so lazy to the point where you can't actually get advertisers for your ad supported tier? Or how about you just get rid of the ad supported tier? People are already paying like upwards to $20-something a month for 4K, and guess what? I can't even watch Raw in 4K because it's not in 4K. It's just in a very clean 1080 with the upscaling on my TV. Anyway, I'm just over it. So I really got to stop saying we. I have the runtimes for the 3 biggest movies of July, and that is Jurassic World Rebirth, Superman, and the Fantastic Four First Steps. So we're going to go in the order of release date. So we're going to go with Jurassic World first, which I don't know if anybody's going to see. I think that franchise is pretty much dead in the water because it always seems like you can always do a good first movie, but then you somehow fuck up the last 2. And I get it, this is a new trilogy, so we might just be repeating the same cycle of good first movie, but then messing up the last 2. So Jurassic World Rebirth, July 2nd, has a runtime of 2 hours and 14 minutes. That's from beginning of the movie to the end of the credits. All right, 2 hours, 14 minutes. July 11th, Superman will have a runtime of 2 hours and 9 minutes. James Gunn just confirmed that they finished putting the final touches on like a few VFX or like color grading, things like that. So the movie is good to go. Still on time. Fantastic Four First Steps, end of July, July 25th, has a runtime of 2 hours and 10 minutes. So, you know, I guess the days of 90-minute action movies are over, because I don't even know the last time I saw like an action movie that had a 90-minute runtime. But yeah, there's that. Also, I'm getting into video games right now, and I know Summer Game Fest is going on right now, but I will not be talking about Summer Game Fest because it's still going on. The same way I don't like to talk about comic convention things like SDCC the week that it starts. I usually talk about it the week after, so I will do that with Summer Game Fest. But the PlayStation State of Play was announced. So one of the things that caught my eye, it's not really a franchise I rock with as a film series. I might get back into it. We're getting a new James Bond game, which is called 007 First Light. So this will be done from IO Interactive, who also does Hitman games. So it said this is basically showcasing James Bond at the beginning of his career as an agent, and it is also revealed that Lenny James from The Walking Dead, who plays Morgan, will be co-starring in this title that's supposed to be coming out next year. Once again, we're announcing games and they didn't even show any gameplay footage. It was all cinematic from what it looked like to me. So there's that. And I think James Bond is being played by Patrick Gibson from Dexter. It looks like him. I mean, can I get confirmation on that? I would like to get some of that. So next one, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is a 4v4 fighting game from the developer of Guilty Gear, who also worked on I believe they worked on Dragon Ball Fighters Arc System Works. So it looks good, and I don't really play fighters like that, and I might get it. They did do it. It's just under Bandai for some dumb reason. So yeah, this is a 4v4 fighting game that will be coming out next year on PS5 and PC. Also another one, Silent Hill F. This will be released September of this year, and this is obviously it's a horror game set in 1960s Japan. Also, Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalika Chronicles, will be released on the PS5 with both classic and enhanced versions of the game that will be released on September 30th, 2025. So the enhanced version will include fully voiced dialogue and optimized and updated user interface, graphical improvements, as well as some quality of life like a Squire difficulty setting. And the classic version will unite the graphics and gameplay of the original 97 version with the renowned War of Lions translation. However, it will include a few new features like autosave. Also, Team Ninja has announced Neo 3 will be on its way in 2026, and apparently there's a demo available right now. I never played any of the Neo games. I have either the first one or the second one. It was like a deal of the day years ago at Best Buy. I got it for like $5. So yeah, there's that. They showed some more footage of not Ape Escape, sorry, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which shows like the revamped Snake versus Monkey mode featuring Ape Escape. July, we will be getting a Ghost of Yotai focused state of play that will show more of that, but they just showed like a little teaser of that. Lumines Arise will be coming out for the PS5, PSVR 2 as well this fall. Pragmata, which is a game that was announced about 3-4 years ago, has finally shown gameplay. So yeah, there's that. There's another one that's called Romeo is Dead, done by Grasshopper Manufacture. So this is a action game that will be coming out in 2026, and it features super bloody action, crazy twists and turns to blow players' minds, and a whole mess of kind of stereotypical gimmicks. Also, don't know how I feel about this one. Digital Eclipse, who does a lot of like remastered games, or bringing classic games to newer systems. They also work on a lot of stuff with Dotemu, so they work on like the side scroller games like Shredder's Revenge, and they'll be working on Cosmic Invasion, I believe. They are doing the Mortal Kombat Legacy collection. So They didn't announce everything that's a part of it, but we know that Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 4, Mortal Kombat Advance, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, and Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition will be included. Now, if they had Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks in that piece, I would get it. I actually like Deadly Alliance. That was the one that was like on the PS2 and the was the Xbox. So yeah. Also, for those of you who are fans of fighting games and you prefer to play with a fight stick, Sony unveiled Project Defiant, which is their first fight stick that will be released for the PS5 and the PC. So they will have more details probably with the state of the play for next month, but they said it will give players more flexibility to play their favorite fighting games, whether it's wirelessly with the innovative PlayStation Link technology that provides ultra low latency, or through a wire connection on PS5 and PC. Side-scroller Ninja Gaiden game, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. We heard about this one when the Ninja Gaiden is called Black, I believe, was announced. That will be coming out July 31st. Don't know how I feel about that. And but whatever. So there's a new game coming out called Tide of Tomorrow that will be released February 24th and aims to reimagine multiplayer storytelling by letting players' choices impact other players' journeys. So I don't know how I feel about that. Like I'm pretty sure like they're gonna have a gigantic server for this game. So like if someone like decides to cut down a tree and block my way, I gotta deal with that tree now. So the synopsis is set in a post-apocalyptic ocean world. You will get to follow another player who has played before you. Choices matter. For example, if a player stole something valuable from an important NPC, that player might hate all Tidewalkers, forcing you to sneak around instead of being welcome. Yeah, no, fuck that. No, I do not like that at all. Okay, because I don't want to be stuck in a situation where somebody decided to play this game and be an asshole to all the NPCs, and all of a sudden I gotta stealth my way through the whole game. No, I'm not rocking with that. But it's a good concept. It's a very new concept, and you know the consequences of that might just cause a lot of people to rage quit. So, Giant Squid, who is responsible for Abzu the Pathless, they got a new game coming out called Sword of the Sea, which will be released this August. And it will actually be a part of the PlayStation Plus catalog. It's called, it says, this atmospheric surfing adventure sees you riding aboard an ancient and powerful hover sword and trying to bring life back to the barren world. There's a new game out called, the demo's out. The game will be released November 5th. It's called Karen. So you apparently are a mountain climber in this game. So yeah, it says the demo lets players take their first ascent with Ava, who is the main character, today to try their hand at climbing the Tenzin mountain ridge before the ascent of the unforgiven Mount Kami. I feel like this one was already announced, but you know, time is a blur to me, honestly. We're getting a new Digimon story game, so this one's called Digimon Storytime Stranger. This will be released on Xbox, PS5, and PC on October 3rd. We're getting everybody's Golf Hot Shots. That will be released September. And there's another game called Hirogami and Its Beautiful Origami World that will be released on September 3rd, and players take the place of Hiro, who is a fan-wielding master of the art of felting. You must save your home from deadly digital invaders by taking on animal forms to solve any problem that gets in your way. There was no trailer for that one, but you know, some of these seem good. Like I said, the main thing that really caught my eye was the Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls in the 007 First Light. Like a lot of this stuff I don't play Final Fantasy Tactics, because that is a turn-based one. Like I said, I haven't touched the Neo game, so I might play that. Metal Gear Solid, I'm done with Metal Gear, honestly. Ghost of Yotai, I still need to be Ghost of Tsushima. I started it, but then I started playing God of War Ragnarok again. I can't. this is the problem when you have multiple games that come out like more or less around the same time, or well, because I started Ghost of Tsushima on the PS4, but then I got The Last of Us, and I was just so enamored with that game because they gave us a teaser trailer for that in 2016. So I had 4 years to wait for that game. Like Ghost of Tsushima, I bought on a whim. But yeah, there's that for the state of play for June. All right, so I think it's actually time for me to cue the spoiler alerts. All right. So I am going to talk about season 2 finale of The Last of Us. All right. And as you all know probably by now, there's been a lot of hate with this season. Some of it may be justified, but some of it shouldn't be justified. Like people are like hating Ellie. And I get that because Craig Mazin wrote a majority of this season. He actually wrote on every single episode by himself, with the exception of the last two. Neil Druckmann and Hallie Gross, who were the writers of The Last of Us Part 2, worked on these 2 episodes. So, but that doesn't justify the right to go after Bella Ramsey. She can't help the way that her head is shaped. They can't help the way that their head is shaped. And apparently Bella decided to say the "I'm going to be a dad" line, and that deserves hate because that was just dumb. But anyway, let's get into it. So Ellie goes back to the theater to meet up with Dina and Jesse. Ellie is a little bit fucked up, and she tells Dina what Joel did at the hospital. And Dina's like, "Nah, we need to go home." But before that, Jesse is trying to get the arrow out of Dina's leg, and he's like, "Nah, here I have some liquid courage to, calm your nerves." She's like, "Nah, I'm good." But the next day, Ellie and Jesse go out to try to find Tommy. They come across some wolves beating up a Seraphite, and Jesse's like, "Nah, fuck them. That ain't our problem." And Ellie is still on her revenge tour, and she's like, "Nah, I'm going after Abby. Okay, you can go help Jesse. I mean, you can go help Tommy. Hell, we might not even know that's Tommy." But anyway, so later on that day, Ellie steals a boat because Nora said something about a whale and a Ferris wheel or something like that, and Ellie put 2 and 2 together and figured out that was at a nearby aquarium. Meanwhile, Ellie gets shipwrecked because of there's a storm. She ends up on the island with the Seraphites, who get ready to disembowel her like they did the one guy in episode 5. But the village is being raided by the wolves, so Ellie gets loose and goes to the aquarium. She comes into contact with Owen and Mel, and she demands that they tell her where Abby is. Owen pulls a gun on Ellie, shoots him through the neck, but that same bullet also grazes Nora's neck and Mel's neck and causes her to bleed out. And at that point, she sees that Mel is pregnant. Tommy and Jesse show up, take Ellie back to the theater. Abby ambushes them, knocks Tommy down while Ellie and Jesse are having a conversation. They run out. Tommy gets shot in the head. Ellie reveals that she is the reason why her father's dead, and Abby fires a shot. The screen goes black, and then we go back in time and we go back to day 1 of Seattle from Abby's perspective. So it looks like season 3 will be all about Caitlin Deaver and Abby, and we will get our introduction of Yara and Lev and what caused Abby to turn on the wolves. Because if you played the game, you know why she did it. I honestly can't remember why she did it. I haven't touched that game in 5 years. But like I said, the season had its ups and downs for me. The most chronicle sin was, "I'm going to be a dad." No, Ellie, you aren't going to be a dad. You're going to be a bonus mom. But also on the side of this, you can tell who cares about story versus actors. So after episode 2, the ratings started to drop significantly. Because if you remember, during episode 2, that's where Joel dies. So they actually lost half the viewership for this season finale as opposed to the season finale of season 1, sorry. But honestly, I really feel like they needed more episodes to flesh this out. I don't know why they decided, hey, we're going to remove 2 episodes and just, do 7 as opposed to 9. So that could have also hurt the story. I'm pretty sure Pedro might have been one of the reasons for that. I'm pretty sure he only had like a limited amount of time to do X, Y, Z amount of episodes. So he was what, 3 episodes? 1, 2, and 6. So, also, it's never really good to have just like one person write an entire season. And as I'm saying that, I need to actually check to see if there were. So yeah, I guess Neil Druckmann was busy because Neil wrote on 1, 2, 3 of the 9 episodes in season 1 as opposed to the 2 in season 2. But all in all, I'm gonna have to give this season an 8. And it's not just because of the I'm gonna be a dad line. It's also a lot of the factors in this season was the way the story is told in the game. So you also don't find out that the reason why Abby killed Joel until like towards the end of the game, but they didn't want to leave people like hanging on a thread like that, so they decided to move some things up, which was honestly just felt like they should have just did it in the order of the game. But I'm just like, what are you gonna do? All right. So I am going to talk about the last 2 episodes of season 2 of Doctor Who. All right. So I'm going to talk about. Oh, I didn't say who directed the season finale of The Last of Us. It was Nina Lopez Corrado. So yeah, I am going to talk about season 2, episode 7 of Doctor Who, and that is Wish World. This episode was written by Russell T Davies, directed by Alex Sanjeev Pillai, stars Shruti Gatwa as the Doctor, Verona Sethru as Belinda Chandra, Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday, Archie Panjabi as the Rani, Jonah Howard King as Conrad Clark, Bonnie Langford as Mel Bush, Ruth Madley as Shirley Bingham, Gemma Redgrave as Kate Ledbridge Stewart, Susan Twist as Susan Triad, Anita Dobson as Mrs. Flood, aka Irani, and Carol Ann Ford as Susan Foreman. So we actually start with a I don't know if it was a flashback or whatever, but so we start in 1865 where the Rani takes a newborn incarnation of this Desiderium, who is the god of wishes, from his family, and we end up on May 23rd, 2025, where the Doctor and Belinda have awakened to reality created by the Rani, while they're a married couple with a daughter named Poppy. And society is overseen by the incel Conrad, who decided to fuck with Ruby, who tells stories of the Doctor and the Time Lord, the Time Lords to the world, projecting his vision of a society of Earth through the power of the stolen baby. Ruby is aware that something is wrong with the world and just tries to convince the Doctor that something is wrong. But the Doctor, who is not the Doctor, who goes by the name of John Smith, goes to work for Unit, which is actually an insurance company, where he witnesses the Rani returning to her bone palace, which presides over London. Meanwhile, Belinda begins to question her role as Poppy's mother when she can't even recall giving birth. Ruby bumps into Shirley, who lives in a homeless camp with other displaced disabled citizens. So the group shares that they are aware of reality's altered state to Ruby. The Doctor goes home after questioning a few things, which is something that you shouldn't do in this reality, because people call the cops on you if you have doubts, if you have any type of wonder whatsoever. So the Doctor is watching Conrad on TV, which then shows an image of the doctor's granddaughter, Susan, and Rogue from season 1, who informs him that reality is wrong, and he tells the doctor that tables don't do that. So then the doctor begins to show doubt in the reality and shares that discovery with Belinda, but then she calls the police about his doubts. Mrs. Flood, showing up, also takes Belinda. Meanwhile, Shirley and Ruby have a unit tablet, and they prepare to hijack Conrad's next transmission. On the Bone Palace, where the doctor and Belinda were taken, the Ronnie decides to gloat the doctor, remind him of who she was and who Mrs. Flood is. So she reveals her plan through a lot of exposition to make the doctor have more doubt, so his doubt can channel the energy from the vortex indicator, or aka the vindicator, that he had throughout this entire season to try to get Belinda home so they can get Omega, who is the creator of the Time Lord, from the Underverse on May 24th. So when the clock hits midnight, reality begins to collapse and the doctor falls from Ronnie's tower, and he gets his memories, and he claims that Poppy is truly his daughter. Very good episode. Let's go ahead and talk about the next episode, which is the season finale, because this is a two-parter. It's called The Reality War. Everybody is still involved who I've named before. Same writer, Russell T. Davies. Director, Alex Sanji Bali. So when Earth is collapsed out of reality, the doctor is rescued by none other than Anita from the Joy to the World Christmas special, who brings him to the Time Hotel. And then he learns that the Ronnie put Earth under Conrad Clark's wish into a time loop, resetting each time reality collapses. So the doctor and Anita use the Time Hotel's doors to restore the memory of Belinda and everyone at unit, while Ruby and the other unit agents have their memories restored via chip implants. So the Ronnie and Mrs. Flood confront the doctor, revealing their plan to bring Omega into the universe to use him as a gene bank to create a new race of Time Lords that they can rule. And Belinda's like, why don't you just use Poppy to do that? And apparently the Ronnie is a Time Lord Nazi, because she's like, no, that baby's DNA is muddled with yours. So we also find out that during the war between the Time Lords and the Daleks, they were hit with a bomb, which basically made all Time Lords infertile. So the doctor and the Ronnie just can't get it on and make a new baby. The doctor has Susan Twist make a special chamber to put Poppy in, because she was the doctor's wish, since Time Lords can't have kids, and they have to set reality right. So he infiltrates the Ronnie's palace as Omega is brought back to their existence. But meanwhile, Omega has become a myth in the Underverse, and has basically just become like a giant skeleton who decides, he would rather feed on Time Lords as opposed to bring them back. So he eats the Ronnie. Mrs. Flood flees and leaves the doctor to take out Omega with his Vindicator. Ruby actually sneaks into the Bone Palace to steal control of the baby Desiderium from Conrad. She uses the power to wish Conrad a better life, and also wishes for his wish to be undone. So then the Bone Palace starts to collapse while the doctor goes back to the TARDIS, which was actually where Conrad was with the baby, and he makes a wish for Desiderium to no longer grant wishes. Meanwhile, reality is restored back to normal, though there are a few minor differences. Like the color teal is like, the color blue is more like a shade of teal. Finland and Scotland are now like 700 miles more apart or something like that. There was an actor who died in like 2012 who was somehow still alive. Anita goes back to the Time Hotel because she also tells the doctor that the boss extends his greetings. And we got to figure out who the boss is, because it's not Bruce Springsteen. Also, the doctor and Ruby go get Belinda and Poppy out of the time chamber. And when the doctor and Belinda get ready to drop Ruby off, Poppy slowly fades away from existence, and Belinda has no idea that she had a daughter. But Ruby is the only one who remembers, and she's like, yo, but there are a few glitches, so is it possible that Poppy was really here and she wasn't a glitch? So the doctor departs, where he is briefly assisted by none other than 13, aka Jodie Whittaker. He initiates a regeneration so that energy can be used to slightly shift reality. And he basically makes a timeline where Poppy is Belinda's daughter, but she is not his, unfortunately. So he says goodbye to Belinda and turns into a new form that looks like Rose Tyler. So I saw this and I was like, wait, what now? Wait, the doctor is now Rose Tyler? And so usually when they introduce new doctors, they introduce them as the doctor in the credits. So perfect example, when this episode ended, they showed the title of Ncuti Gatwa as the doctor, Jodie Whittaker as the doctor, and it said and introducing Billy Piper, but it did not say introducing Billy Piper as the doctor. So I'm like, is Billy Piper going to be the moment? And honestly, I'm left with more questions than answers, and I really didn't want Ncuti to go. He didn't need to go so early. Why did he go? Seriously, why did he leave? I really hope he didn't let like the racist trolls get to him, and you know that was the reason why he decided to leave, because he has 2 seasons under his belt. So he is the second doctor to have a short tenure with a full series, because I'm not counting Pat McGann. He never did a series, he just did a movie. So it's Christopher Eccleston, then Ncuti, then Jodie. So it's just like, we just can't keep letting these incel trolls win, man. But yeah, no Doctor Who until 2027, because next year we are getting the War Between the Land and Sea series. But yeah, I'm just like, wait, what? How is they gotta at least give us a Christmas special or something, because I need to know how is Billy Piper here. Anyway, I am going to talk about Karate Kid Legends now. Written by Mark Lieber and directed by Jonathan Entwistle. This movie starts with a flashback from Karate Kid 2 in the summer of 1985, where Mr. Miyagi tells Daniel LaRusso about the origins of the Miyagi-Do karate and the relationship between the Miyagi and the Han families. So Mr. Miyagi's ancestor, Shimpu Miyagi, was fishing on the coast of Japan during a storm, but somehow ended up in China. The Han family took him in and taught him Kung Fu, which was then branded as Miyagi-Do karate upon his return to Okinawa. So, meanwhile, we jump to the present, where Mr. Han has his own karate school in Beijing, and one of the students is his great nephew Li Fang, and his mother shows up looking for him to tell him and Mr. Han that she has accepted a job in New York City, and that they are leaving ASAP. Lee is not supposed to be fighting because of the fact that his brother was stabbed after a karate tournament. So while in New York, Lee struggles to adjust at school, but he meets Mia Lipinelli, who is the daughter of Victor Lipinelli. Lipani, who is a local former boxing champion and pizza restaurant owner. They kind of begin a romantic relationship, but then one day they are confronted by Mia's ex, Connor Day, who is also a local karate champion. Sound a little familiar? Connor punches Lee in the face while Lee does not fight back on a subway. They try to Mia and Victor try to cover up his black eye with makeup, but his mother finds out. She gets him a tutor named Alan, who later becomes his friend, to help him with his calculus or something like that. But a few days later, Lee and Connor get into it at school, but Connor fucks Lee up. One night, Lee is just sitting outside of his window while Victor is being attacked by some thugs who was sent by the guy that Victor owes money to, named O'Shea, who actually owns the karate dojo where Connor trains. Lee beats off the attackers, and then Victor decides to return to boxing to pay off his debt and to save his pizzeria and actually to train him. But Lee is very hesitant on that. But then after talking to his great grandfather, he decides to train him. Victor has a match. O'Shea actually has the man who Victor is fighting knock him out with some illegal moves and actually sends him to the hospital. Lee gets shook up by the whole situation because he begins having a flashback to when his brother died. And you actually found out that that is the hospital that his mother works at. And so she is disappointed with Lee's involvement in fighting still. Mr. Han arrives in New York to talk to Lee about not answering his calls, but he encourages him to enter the martial arts tournament, which is called the Five Boroughs, to help him get over the death of his brother and to also help his friends because there is a payout of $25,000. Also, Mr. Han goes to Daniel for help on training Lee. So they both teach him Kung Fu and Karate. And Lee actually wins the tournament. Gives Victor the money. Victor is also able to open a second pizzeria. And also sends Daniel a pizza when Daniel goes back home to LA, and he shares the pizza with none other than Johnny Lawrence, who comes up with an idea for having a pizzeria in LA called Miyagi-Do. And Daniel's like, nah, bro. So yeah, all in all, very good movie. I loved this movie, honestly. It was choking me up at some parts. Like I like a good story with a character with some type of traumatic hang up. And the fact that Lee was still dealing with the grief of losing his brother and feeling at fault because he felt like if he would not have frozen up, he would have been able to save his brother. But in those moments, you really got to like figure out like how to get past your grief and everything. And I was trying to figure out where on earth I knew the girl who played Mia from. And I'm like, this girl looks familiar. But she was on the Goldbergs. Who the hell did she play on the Goldbergs again? Yeah, she was Bria B. But she was also Kim Possible in the Kim Possible movie for Disney. But yeah, all in all, this movie was amazing. On a scale of 1 to 10, I will definitely give it a 9. I felt like some stuff was rushed, and I really felt like we could have probably used like another 20 minutes of LaRusso and Han training Lee and fleshing that out a little bit more. But yeah, all in all, very good movie. Go see it. Next week I will be reviewing Ballerina, and I think that's it because Doctor Who is over, The Last of Us is over. Yeah, I think that's all I got. Anyway, guys, it's your boy Bernard. That was another episode of the Angry Blerd podcast. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Go to w.gg, use the promo code AngryBlerd10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. And I will see y'all next week. I'm finna finish drinking this water because I've been talking for like an hour and a half. Anyway, peace.